and welcome to Castle Tikifez. I am the Count. This evening, I would like to show you how to draw a Halloween spooktacular drawing full of ghosts and ghoulies and goblins and things that go bump in the night. Oh my goodness, what was that? Ah, Halloween. It reminds me of my good friend Edgar. He was driven stark raven mad.
You should use that joke again, never more! Ah!
You are completely under my power. Get your pencil and your paper. Don't sharpen the pencil too much. It'll be like a stake through my heart. Ah, talk about heartburn. Ha 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 ha. But it might be a little bit scary for some of the little monsters. So you might want to ask your mommy first. Your mommy, because it is the Egyptian mummy. But first, let me change into a bat! That's not what I had in mind!
Ah, that's so much better!
Hi, I'm Stephen Harper with Tikifez Comics. I'm an artist, but I'm also an author. I write comic books and graphic novels like Quest for the Golden Butterfly, Episode 1. Now available from Tikifez Comics. Oh, look at it. It's just wonderful. You can get yours today. I want to show you how to draw this Halloween spooktacular drawing. Honestly, it's so easy. There's no trick. It's just a treat. All you'll need is a pencil and some paper, or a pen and some paper, or a crayon and some paper. You will need some paper, so there you go. Remember, if there's something you want to do differently, something you want to try, something you want to add, something you want to subtract, feel free. Don't feel like you have to do it exactly the way that I do it. So are you ready? Great, then let's get started. I like to start this drawing off with a jack-o'-lantern right in the middle of it. Now the simplest way to draw a jack-o'-lantern is just to draw a big circle. But if you think about the shape of a jack-o'-lantern, they're not just smooth and spherical, they're a little bit ruffly and rumply and stuff like that. So, close to the bottom of my page, I'm just going to start by drawing a letter C. A little ways away from that, I'm going to draw a backwards letter C. In between, at the bottom edge of this, what I'm going to do is a little row of smiles. Just 2 or 3 smile lines across. And at the top, to connect them, I'm going to put 2 or 3 frowny lines. 1, 2, 3 frowny lines. Next thing I want to put is my stem. So I'm going to curve a line up from the top and curve a line from the other side. And then I'm just going to connect those at the top with kind of a hot dog shape. Now, a stem is not perfectly smooth. It's a little bit rumply, just like the pumpkin is. So what I'm going to do here is put just 2 or 3 little lines across that to show some of the texture on the stem. If you're going to make a jack-o'-lantern, we have to put a face on it. There's always a face on a jack-o'-lantern. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do a face. Face number 1 is a happy face. Start with 2 upside-down letter U's. One over here and one over here. Next, I'm going to do 2 smaller upside-down letter U shapes. Right here and right here. And I'm going to connect that to my first U shape with a flat line. Now if you want to put some eyebrows up above it, a very simple way you can do that, a little curved line above and another little curved line above. A little curved line above here, curved line above there. And of course, if we're making a happy smiling pumpkin, we have to put a smile. So what I'm going to do here is a curved line that starts, I'm going to stop it just about in between the 2 eyes. I'm just going to pause it for a second, because what I'm going to do here is drop a line down, go across, back up, And then I'm going to curve that line on the other side. Next thing I want to do at the bottom edge, kind of the same feel. I'm going to start over here. Start by curving a line. This time I'm going to stop closer to that first eye. I'm going to draw a line that goes up, across, down, and then curves on across. We can put another tooth there if you'd like. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it might be fun. So let's try it. Let's do another line that goes up, across, and back down, and then curves up to meet that smile. There's our pumpkin face. Now, what if you don't want a happy pumpkin face? What if you want like a scary, mean pumpkin face? Then let me show you how to do that. Now, to make my scary, mean pumpkin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it triangular eyes. But I'm going to start those off by doing an upside down letter V. One over here, and one over here. Inside each one of these upside down letter V's, I'm going to put another upside down letter V. Upside down letter V, upside down letter V. I'm going to connect those with our first letter V's with just flat lines. One over here, one right here, one right here, one right here. Next thing I want to do is a mouth. Now we can have a smile for our mean scary pumpkin, but you don't want it to have the goofy square teeth like we had on our last pumpkin. We want
pointy fangs, sharp, pointy, scary fangs.
but it can smile. So what we're going to do here is a zigzag line that goes all the way across and back up. Same thing underneath that. A jaggedy zigzag line. And up to meet it. Now, if you want to make your pumpkin super scary, we have to put some eyebrows in there. And remember, eyebrows look meanest if they slant in towards the inside. 'Cause when you're making an angry face, your eyebrows slant in towards the middle. So what I'm going to do here is just a line that goes down, a line that goes down, a short little straight line, and then a line up to meet it. Making some long stretched out triangles. Ooh, that's kind of scary. A pumpkin is not just paper thin. They have a thickness to the pumpkin wall itself. So I want to show that thickness here. So what I'm going to do is a short little straight line that goes in and down, in and across. And I'm going to just parallel this line right here. Same thing over here. Might do it the other way. In and down. Parallel this line right here. Line across. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing on the teeth. I'm going to do a little line from the top edge of a tooth that goes down to meet. Out and down. Out and down. Out and down. Ooh, frightening. Since a pumpkin is not a smooth, round ball like a basketball, I want to show some of the textures of the pumpkin. So I'm going to put just 2 or 3 curved lines across the face of the pumpkin, just to show some of those ripples and ridges on the pumpkin itself. Next thing I want in my picture, I want to show a ghost. So the way I'm going to start off my ghost, I'm just going to put a kind of curvy letter V coming up from either the eye or maybe the mouth, some part of the pumpkin. I'm just going to curve a line up, curve another line up to make a wavy letter V. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I want the arms up like he's going, ooh, trick or treat, give me candy, that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do here is an upside down U shape, kind of a small one. And another upside down U shape over here. And then what I'm going to do is kind of another big upside down U shape for the head. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of curve my line here to go up, back down, meet this with a curve. That's our ghost's... Well, it's not really the body, is it? What do you call the body of a ghost? I don't know. You can do any kind of face you want to on the ghost. If you'd like to do a happy ghost, you can. If you'd like to do a mean, scary ghost, you can. A sad ghost, why would it be sad? It's trick-or-treating, it's Halloween. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw in a black circle over here, a black circle over here, classic round kind of eyes. And then, in a tribute to Edvard Munch's The Scream, 1893, I'm going to go ahead and make kind of a long, drawn-out mouth here. It looks a little bit like a footprint. Ooh. There we go. Ghosts. Next thing in my picture I think we need a big, spooky, haunted tree. Nothing scarier than a big, spooky, haunted tree in a Halloween drawing. On one side of my page, really close to the edge, don't draw me cause I'm close to the edge. Almost at the bottom edge of my page, just a little bit above it, I'm going to draw a line that curves towards the edge of my picture, goes up, curves back, and goes all the way off the top edge of my paper. Alright? Goes in, goes up, goes back off the top to show where the branches kind of split apart from each other in the tree. I'm going to draw some letter V's. So what I'm going to do here, a letter V, a letter V, a letter V. You just want to put 2 or 3 of them. You don't want to put 1,600. They'll probably get a little bit excessive if you try that. And then at the bottom of the tree, to show the roots, how they split apart, they almost look like branches of the tree itself. That's the way that trees stay rooted in the ground by the roots, so they don't tip over or anything like that. I'm going to draw some upside down letter V's here, just 2 or 3, to sort of make it look like where the roots of that tree are. Now, in a spooky haunted tree, you have to have some place where maybe a bat could live, or maybe it's a happy squirrel. We can't really tell because in the dark, you know, they kind of look the same. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to draw kind of a teardrop shape. And if you think about the way a teardrop shape is, it starts skinny, gets fatter and rounder. But I'm going to turn that upside down. So it's fatter and rounder, gets skinny at the bottom. Let me show you. Skinny, fatter, rounder, skinny. Inside this, I'm going to put some scary eyes. I'm going to start with just a V shape, kind of a wide one, and then a curved line underneath each one of those. Now, if you want to put 2 or 3 sets of eyes, you could do that. I might put 2 over here, so I'm going to go ahead and just do another letter V shape, a curved line underneath it. Tree bark is not smooth and like flat like glass. It is in fact ruffly and rumply and wrinkly, kind of like alligator skin. For all of you with pet alligators. And I want to show some of those wrinkles and folds here. Around the hole in the tree, I want to show 2 or 3 lines above it, 2 or 3 lines below it, and then what I'm going to do is just kind of put some lines through here, kind of at random, but they all kind of go in the same direction as the branches, or as the trunk of the tree here. And I'm not going to put 15,000 of them, but I just want to make the tree look kind of rough and gnarled. We're ready to move back into our background for our drawing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start a line about halfway up my page. I'm going to start from my tree. I'm going to just draw all the way across. I'm going to draw right over my ghost and draw up into a hill on the other side. Now, you might say, why did you draw over the ghost? Ah, because ghosts are see-through, not exactly transparent. Transparent means you can see clear through it like a window. However, there's another word, translucent, which means you can see light through it, but you can't exactly see through it. It's kind of milky. So a ghost is going to be translucent. So what I want to do now is I want to put a spooky house. Ooh. Now, I like to start off my haunted mansion by putting a tall rectangle just coming up from the hill. Just a tall rectangle. And then what I do on each side of the rectangle, I'm going to draw a shorter rectangle over here and a shorter rectangle over here. Next I'm going to draw a line off on this side and a line off on this side. Then two curved edges, kind of curving up and in, connected at the top with a flat line. Now, that's kind of a trapezoid shape with curved edges. And I'm going to imagine if I cut that shape in half, I'm going to put half of that curved trapezoid shape on each side of the smaller rectangles. So I'm going to draw a line that goes out, curves up, and then connects to the house. Goes out, curves up, connects to the house. Now on top of the roof, I might want to put a fence. They used to have what's called a widow's walk up on top of houses like this in the Victorian style, by the way. If you like spooky old houses, Victorian style is what they were called. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put two tall lines from each side, and on top of that what I'm going to do is an upside down letter V for sort of some fence points. I'm going to put some more up and down lines. Up and down, a little bit shorter than those first two lines, and connect them with a flat line. It doesn't matter if they're not the exact same length, it's really not that important. Down at the other two roofs of this, I'm going to do the same kind of thing. Start with a kind of a taller line with a V on it, then some little up and down lines with a line across it. Basically just to make a fence shape. I hope you didn't take offense at that remark. Same thing over here. Some up and down lines, then connect right there. Now, while I'm up here at the roof, I want to show some of the shingles and some of the things protecting the roof from the rain and the storm. It was a dark and stormy night. So what I'm going to do here is just a couple of U shapes, and I have them sort of overlapping in places. Just two or three here and there sort of scattered around on those roof shapes. You don't want to put too many, just sort of look like some shingles. Now, what I also like to do, sometimes I like to color in one of those, one or two here and there to sort of look like some missing shingles. You want it to look like an old house. Alright, now, we need a way to get into our house. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put an upside down U shape right there in the center of the front one to make a door. Now I like to make this door look like it's kind of open. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a line that goes straight down the middle. That's to make two doors. A lot of times these spooky haunted mansions wouldn't have an electric doorbell like we have today, but they would have a door knocker. Yeah, like that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a circle with a circle inside of it with a square up above it. On this other side, what I'm going to do here, to look like this door is hanging open, I'm going to sort of imagine where this line starts to curve that way, and I'm going to curve it the other way instead. So there we go. We have our door hanging open. Sometimes, if it's a dark, stormy night, or dark, clear night, if it's a dark night and you have lights inside the house, if a door is open, you will see the light out on the ground. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw a shape that kind of gets a little bit bigger to look like the light spilling from that door out onto the lawn. We could put a silhouette. Now what a silhouette is just the outline, the shape of somebody, like if they have lights behind them staring at you. It's sort of like a shadow. On this edge of the door, I'm just going to draw a circle and color it in, and a triangle underneath that. Now, I can put a letter V to make it look like an arm, and I can give them some claws. Now, I might also want to give them a big pointy ear right there. I don't even know what that is, but it looks kind of frightening. Alright, now, we need some windows in our house, and the windows are pretty simple. What I'm going to do here is just put a rectangle over here, and a rectangle over here, with the classic cross lines inside each one of those. I also want to put a window up above the door, but I'm going to leave a little bit of room here. I'm basically going to put a square shape right here with a half circle up above it, because we're going to make this a fancy window. What I'm going to do next is draw a line that goes all the way down, and then a line that goes across that square. And then inside this half circle, I'm going to put a line that angles up that way and one that angles up that way. If you want to make this look like some of the windows are broken out or something like that, what you can do is put sort of just like a zigzag line across any one of those. You don't want to put it across all of them because you don't want to look like all the windows are broken out. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't like to put them across all of them. If you want it to look like some of those windows are boarded up, you could do that, but you might have to use your eraser. What you would do is first draw a rectangle across the window, and another one across the window, and another one across the window, and then inside each of those rectangles you would erase the lines that you see inside of it. Redraw anything that you messed up. I'm just about ready to leave my house alone, but the next thing I need to do is put some horizontal side-to-side lines across these parts of the house to look like the sideboards. You don't want 2 million of them, but you do want to put some, just for some lines to look like the siding of the house. Now, what I also like to do sometimes with these, I like to put a sort of an angled or crooked line every so often to make it look like it's in poor repair. Although it does kind of look like mummy's bandages, doesn't it? On either side of the haunted house, what I like to do is put some up and down lines and connect them to the house with a flat line. And about every 5th or 6th one, I will put a taller line. You'll notice that I'm just drawing right over my ghost. That's because the ghost is translucent. Yes. On these taller ones, what I like to do is put an upside down V shape to make it look like a sharp point. And then, of course, we can connect it back to the house by putting a flat line. I like to put a path going from my house down to the foreground where the pumpkin and the ghost are. So I'm going to start at one edge of my door, and I'm just going to draw a line that kind of curves down like a letter S. You might have to draw around your pumpkin. And then I'm going to draw another line that starts from my door and gets a little bit wider as it goes. And this one's going to kind of come and just about hit where my tree is. That's okay. The tree's grown up since the path was there. Now, across the bottom edge of my tree, what I might want to do is put 2 or 3 little frowny lines across the edges of those roots so you can show where they end. And then we can continue our path there. I like to put some other things in the yard. Now, you're welcome to put more pumpkins. That's always fun to do. And again, if you make them smaller and put them higher up, they'll look like they're farther away. Let me show you what I mean. Remember how we drew our first pumpkin? A letter C, a backwards letter C, some smile lines, some frowny lines, 2 or 3 curved lines, and a stem up top. Now, you can put more pumpkins, as many as you want. You can make it a whole pumpkin patch, and if you want, you can still put faces on all of those. What I like to do sometimes, to make it even spookier, you might want to put some gravestones. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you want to, let me show you how to do it. Start with an upside down U shape, just like that. Now, from the top of this U shape, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line go parallel to that. So I'm seeing sort of the edge of a tombstone, because the stone has thickness to it. Now, across the bottom edge, what I'm going to do is a row of frowny lines to look like some dirt or where the grass is. In fact, if you want to make it look like where the grass is growing up, you can do something a little bit different. Let me show you. I think my whiteboard is haunted. if you want to make it look like the grass hasn't been mowed for a while, all you have to do is put a jaggedy zigzag line right there to look like some grass has grown up. Now when I put names on the tombstones, I like to put kind of silly names. So something like this. Sorry, Frank. Or now you're welcome to put more tombstones in there if you'd like. To make them look like they're closer to you, you put them lower in the picture and make them larger. To make them look like they're farther away, make them smaller and put them higher up. So if you wanted to, you could put what if you wanted to make it look like it says something, but you don't want to take the time to write it out? A wavy line will do the trick. Kind of makes it look like there's writing on it, but we can't really tell what it is. Now, I'm ready to move further back into the background, and what I want to do, since it's a spooky night, I want to show that it's nighttime, so I want to put the moon. Now, you're welcome to put any kind of moon you like. I always like to put sort of a crescent moon, which is just about 3/4 of a circle with 3/4 of a circle inside it. But for this drawing, there's even a better way to do a moon that I like more, but let me show you and you can decide. For a great big giant moon, what I like to do is a half circle that sort of starts on the ground and bumps into my tree. If it doesn't bump into your tree, it's okay. It can just go back down to the ground. Now back here we could put some more things. Could I put another tree? Sure. I start from the ground line, curve a line up and out just like the first tree, curve a line in and then back out, and again draw some letter V's. Now from these top branches, what I like to do next, I like to put some spiraling lines. And you can just have spirals growing off of each other like that. And if I were coloring this, I would just color the whole tree in black because the moon is back behind it. I think we might need to put a bat flying around up in the sky. An easy way to do the bat is start with a small frowny line. On either side of that, what I'm going to do is an upside down letter V. One over here, one over here. From there, I'm going to curve a line up on each side. And then I'm going to curve a line down on each side. And then, of course, I'm going to put just a row of frown lines, just about 3 on each side. It kind of reminds me of a certain superhero, doesn't it? Well, they don't call him Cowman, do they? Next thing I want to do is just color that in. But before I do that, what I might want to do is show some mean, scary eyes that might harken back to what's hiding in the tree here. So what I would do is a letter V with 2 curved lines underneath it. And then I would just color the whole thing in black. Bat in black. Hit the sack. Bats are great to scatter around through the whole picture. There's also another way you can do a bat to make them look like they're flying. Repeat the same steps. Start with a frowning line. Letter V and a letter V. A line that curves up. A line that curves up. But then, instead of curving a line down, curve the line up again. And then 2 or 3 frowny lines back down to the middle. And again, color that in. Could we put some more bats over there by the house, flying around like they're bats in the belfry? Great idea.
I've often heard people say that I have bats in my belfry.
Now these you might want to do super small. But it's basically the same steps as we had over here. So you do the ears, the top of the head, the wings, like that. Now that wraps up our Halloween Spooktacular. One thing left to do is to sign it. And of course, I like to sign it in the bottom right hand corner, but what if you can't sign it in the bottom right hand corner?
Because there's a tree there.
Then sign it in the bottom left hand corner. Halloween 2019. And I'm pleased and excited to announce and to show you it's here! It's out! The Quest for the Golden Butterfly, episode number 1, now available from
Tikifez.
Make sure to ask for it at your local bookstore, your local comic book store, any place where people buy reading material. Go in and ask for it. Quest for the Golden Butterfly, Episode 1 from Tikifez Comics, now available! Thanks for watching. Thanks for drawing along. Until next time, keep on drawing and I will see you. Quest for the Golden